Welcome to Superintendent's Conference Day, March 2019. I'm Elizabeth Wood, pleased to kick off this morning. Glad to see so many of you here with smiles on. We're going to start with a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Ian Parker, who is going to give us a little bit of information about the two performing groups he is part of that are going to be performing for us this morning.
Good morning. My name is Ian Parker, and I'm a percussionist in the Wind and Jazz Ensemble. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on my experience in the Shen Music Department. I've been playing the drums since 3rd grade, and although I've always enjoyed playing, it was in the 10th grade that I became passionate about playing music. 10th grade was the first year that I participated in Jazz Ensemble, and the experience showed me how much joy there is in the collaboration of music. Participating in Wind Ensemble and Jazz Ensemble has provided me a creative outlet that has changed my life for the better. My passion for music almost led me to pursue a music degree. However, I have been accepted into West Point and will begin conducting. I'm grateful to have studied music at Shen, as it is something I will keep with me throughout my life. We would like to thank all of our teachers for encouraging us through these years. For our program this morning, we will be performing Shared Space by Ivan Trevino and Tell Me a Bedtime Story by Herbie Hancock. We hope you enjoy our performance.
Whew, wow, that is amazing. I really want to know where they're playing this weekend. Whew. Yeah, you know, it's a great time to talk about the talent we have at Shen and what we're blessed, the students that we're blessed to work with, and also the incredible gift it is for our students to have outstanding teachers. Dan Gleason and Brian Carucci. Speechless. The power, really, the power that we have in our midst, and one more reason why it makes, I think, all of us so incredibly proud to be part of our Shenendehowa community. So I am pleased now to introduce our superintendent to provide some words to guide us through the rest of our school year and inspire us to continue doing the great work that we've been doing. Dr. L. Oliver Robinson, Superintendent of Schools.
Good morning. Thank you. I thought I was looking at a beautiful picture for a second. Thank you very much. You know, it's so funny. I got up this morning a little bit more paranoid about getting up this morning than other mornings, but so instead of 4:30, it was 3:30. And I looked at my phone, and I'm so programmed to go to the weather. And I saw snow, snow, snow. And I thought to myself, God Almighty, it's supposed to be spring. What happened? And then first thing I think, oh, I gotta call Al, transportation guy. Oh, it's not a snow day today. This is Superintendent's Conference Day. So happy spring. So that's how I kind of started my day at 3 o'clock in the morning, kind of between sleep and wake and thinking what I'm supposed to be doing. And I was like, quite frankly, I was thinking it was supposed to be 67 and sunny. But it's not, but you know what, we're here. And the sunshine we all bring to this place makes it all worthwhile. And speaking of that, about being here, I'd like to just to ask several board members we have here. And I'm always pleased, and I was saying to someone this morning that this is my 28th time doing this, twice a year for 14 years. And you know, when you think about it, every time to me it's like the first day of school. You know, it's the first time. It feels like that first time feeling. And one thing that has been common all through, in addition to always having a great audience, is the constant support of board members. And we're so fortunate to have board members who don't find it robbery to spend the time to come here, to give up their time at their respective employment and be here with us. And so I would like to start with our board president, Mr. Bob Presley. Bob, you stand, please. Our board vice president, Mrs. Deanna Stevenson. Board member, Mrs. Christina Rajat. And board member, Mrs. Gusta Miller. I would like to also acknowledge some folks who spent a significant portion of their lives here with us as educators and are preparing to write their next chapter in retirement. And for those people, I gotta tell you, everyone who I've spoken to since they've retired said it's pretty cool. So I know you may have mixed emotions at this moment, but I guarantee when I see a year from now, you're going to say, it's pretty cool, actually. So I won't necessarily call names, but I'm going to ask you to stand. We have 11 teachers, 1 social worker, 1 counselor, and 1 building principal who are retiring at the end of the school year. Can you all please stand and be recognized? And so, one person stood And you notice I said one building principal. I didn't say one associate principal, because he doesn't realize we're going to rescind his resignation, Mr. Ripchick. We like your dog. I would also like to acknowledge someone who has been a tremendous asset here as a part of our administrative team, and so pleased as she prepared to take the next step as an elementary principal with Scholarville, Mrs. Rose Beckett. Rose, are you here? Thank you all for your tremendous service to the Shen community. So this morning I'm going to speak on the topic of leading for learning in a diverse and dynamic era. So why is this topic important? Well, here's my dilemma. I am at times conflicted and perplexed by knowing that while the horizon for education here at Shen and for public schools at large leans forward, and that the gates of a new era filled with innovative and creative ideas and solutions have been flung wide open, we at times still find ourselves stuck in the quagmire of past assumptions. So after some personal introspection and considering my leadership obligation to the district, I simply want to ensure that our schools are truly sanctuaries for growth, exploration, and learning for every student, with emphasis on every. Frankly, I know that it's easier said than done, recognizing that there are seemingly many competing interests and demands for our time and attention. And while that is the case, or should I say, because that is the case, I applaud each of you for your contributions to make this district a place where equity and opportunities and outcomes for every student is not only an objective, but a reality. To put my comments in context, education law stipulates that we must act as reasonable parents would. As reasonable parents would. And for those of us with children, we know that it's a worthwhile challenge. Personally, every day, I give thanks to my parents for putting up with my shenanigans, forgiving my indiscretions, valuing my quirkiness, being patient with my frustrations, fueling my sense of determination, and helping me to learn from my successes and my failures. See, like reasonable parents, we serve as guideposts for students' success, motivating and supporting divergent thinking and positive outcomes. Like reasonable parents, possessing a positive sense of personal integrity, we help to permeate and foster a culture of inclusivity, which means cultivating and nourishing environments that help students and adults alike contend with the traumas and struggles of life. Here's the crux of the matter. Like reasonable parents, we don't always get it right, but we also never give up on our children. As we think about leading for learning in a diverse and dynamic era, we must all challenge ourselves to see beyond the challenges of our children, our students, seeing what ought to be and endeavoring to remove the contradictions. For here's the rub. It requires us, each and every one of us, to embrace change in ourselves. It requires us to question if, as someone recently said to me, if the best practice is truly best or just most well known. So this morning, I dare you. In fact, I double dare you. I challenge each of you to seek, to create, and allow for what I call catapulting moments for ourselves, our students, and for others. It is through our individual efforts that we cultivate the environments in which people are excited to be difference makers, excited to be creative, and feel supported to take risks and be innovative. And frankly, as audacious as I am as a person, I cannot mandate or manufacture such an environment. It is through our individual and collective intentionality that we procure the promise of a quality experience for every student. And I know some may argue, or even say that I'm full of it, that I'm idealistic. Well, you know, maybe I am. And I trust that you're also equally idealistic. Because as, like reasonable parents, we must be fueled by an unwavering sense of hope and hopefulness. Like it or not, we are it. We are the people whose every actions can serve as a bridge or a barrier to bringing our students to their preferred dreams. That's a powerful obligation. A powerful obligation. And the realization thereof hinges on our individual conviction to possess an authentic agenda defined by an inclusive growth mindset that facilitates connectedness, that leverages diverse ideas and inputs, and that is resolute to our commitment to excellence. Our work, your work, is so important and urgent. Our work is so important and urgent. It compels us. It compels us to work in concert and not in contradiction, ensuring that every student feels cared for and cared about. We must be intentional about ensuring that every child possesses a sense of significance. As reasonable parents, it is contingent upon all of us to pay attention to our attention, appreciating the world around us, maximizing opportunities, and intervening to support others in need. It's an absolute necessity for us to avoid being blinded by routines. We're often blinded by routines, which ultimately prohibits what we see and how we engage others. We must desperately guard against also being overly self-important, that we can't stop to spend the time to get to know someone or someone else, to engage in sincere, caring relationships. As reasonable parents, as leaders for learning, it is essential that we use the voice of our positions to help provide positively engaging experiences for ourselves and our students. Then, and only then, will the larger community of positivity will prevail. There is indeed something to be said about simple kindness, respect, and dignity. We're so fortunate. I would go as far as saying we're extremely fortunate to be the greatest profession. The profession of molding minds and shaping futures. As leaders for learning, we must, it's not optional, we must sanction the inevitable and work to bring out the genius in every child. I thank you for your service. I thank you for your compassion. I thank you for your understanding. I thank you for your patience. I thank you for your optimism. I thank you for your commitment of conviction. All the things I thank my parents for, I thank you for as leaders for learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Robinson. We will now transition to our workshop sessions. At 9 o'clock, our workshop sessions will begin. We have maps outside. If you have any questions, just consult the walls outside and we'll show you where you need to be going, or come see me. Thank you. Hope everybody has a great day.